Hello and welcome to another Hot Hardware game stream where today we're playing Destiny, which we haven't played on stream in, I don't know, when was the last time we played it, Brittany?
Oh, probably May.
Yeah, it's been a long time, but glad to be back. We've had a bit of a hectic year, as I'm sure most of us have had, but hopefully we'll be able to do some more streaming as we go. Thankfully, Val has stepped up to the plate. So if you haven't checked out Val already, she also streams to our Twitch channel. She's awesome. But yeah, hopefully you'll see more of us as well. And maybe we can drag in some others from the Hot Hardware team to stream some games now and again. But anyways, today's stream is the Destiny content that really all of us want and deserve. And that is my vault is too full, and there's new content releasing tomorrow. So I need space for all the new loot. So I need to go through my vault and figure out what I want to remove. And then once we've done some sufficient damage to that, we'll go through some other last minute items that you can do if you want to play along as we stream. Because the servers are going down in about 3 hours, and then they will be down until the Witch Queen expansion launches tomorrow at noon Eastern time. So, um, yeah, I guess with that we can start to get into it. So what I've done is I don't usually use the vault in game because I find it a bit clunky to use and compare things. So instead, I like to use this app. It's a community app called Destiny Item Manager for those who aren't familiar, though most Destiny players should be, because it makes managing your inventory, your armor, loadouts, everything just so much easier. Um, so as you can see here, my characters are, well, more than half full each. I have my Titan, my Hunter, and my Warlock here. And my vault is pretty near full. I have a little bit of space, but I would definitely like more. So I guess it's time to part with a lot of items, some of which I maybe like more than I should, and others I've told myself I would touch and haven't. So I think the first thing I'll do, I'm just going to apply some filters in here for is weapon, and I'm going to unlock everything to start. And I'm going to clear all the tags. So we are going to start fresh with how I evaluate everything.
I'm also going to go ahead and drop our Destiny Witch Queen prep guide because while it has a ton of other stuff in it, one thing we do have in it is just some very basic how to clean your vault things. It's nothing crazy, um, nothing quite the level of the infamous Datto, but it's just some basic stuff.
Right. So ultimately, I'm doing this for the Witch Queen expansion, but these kind of cleanup tips and how to use dim and all of that really can be used at any point hereafter. I mean, obviously, dim is an evolving program, it gets new features all the time, and there'll be some new tips and tricks here and there as things go. Um, but, if you're watching this at a later date, it can hopefully help you make some decisions on your weapons, get some thought process on things, and learn how to use some of these tools in here. So I usually clean up my kinetics pretty well. I mean, I've got some duplicates in here we'll worry about later, but I'm not very good at cleaning up my energy weapons in particular. So maybe we'll go ahead and start there. Um, so let's start with, I guess, the most common weapon type, the auto rifle, because I know I have a bunch and I do not need them all. So one thing I do like to do is I like to try and keep one of each energy type in the game for things like match games, so you can break shields. But beyond that, there's not much reason to keep multiples of things other than doing PvE versus PvP kind of thing. So let's go in here and we'll start with the Void auto rifles. So if we click on a weapon in here, there's this little scales icon. And if you click that, you'll get some comparisons. By default, it'll show you all items with the same name, but you can also expand that search to show of the same damage type. So right here we can see I have an age-old bond and a bunch of gnawing hungers. Um, my bread and butter gnawing hunger is this one here, subsistence and rampage. But I also like this one with demolitionist, though Zen moment is kind of useless. So as much as I love having demolitionist on a weapon, and it has swashbuckler for damage perk too, but demolitionist is really why I use this one. I am going to tag it as junk to get ready to say goodbye. And we'll go ahead and delete this in game later. I can live without that one. Then I have the age-old bond and this other gnawing hunger. This gnawing hunger here is really a PvP role for the Crucible. Tap the trigger, kill clip. It does very well for just beaming people. The age-old bond, I don't know that it's really doing anything for me. It's a little confused. So this has a two perks that kind of work against each other. So the first perk here, triple tap, is that when you're landing precision hits with it, you get more ammo in the magazine. The other perk it has is kill clip, where if you reload after a kill, you get extra damage. So you've got one perk that's trying to keep ammo in your magazine, and you have another perk that wants you to reload. So not the most useful combination. I mean, it can work for sure, but usually you want something, if you're going to go with a kill clip roll, you want something that'll help you reload more quickly, a perk like outlaw or rapid hit or something like that. This isn't doing that, so I'm going to go ahead and say I can remove that too. Now, keeping 2 rolls of gnawing hunger, I can live with that. Looking over at solar auto rifles, I only have 2. So this one has more of the combination I was just talking about, where there's multi-kill clip that you reload and get more damage. And then after that, it has outlaw, which as you get precision kills, it decreases your reload time, so you can reload and get back to doing damage faster. Then with the other one, Arctic Haze is honestly not an auto rifle I've ever particularly loved. It just seems to kind of spray bullets everywhere except for where I'm trying to shoot. So I guess if I'm going to keep one of these, I think the Kayurza Mellow is going to be a little better for me. What do you think?
You don't need 2 solar auto rifles.
Well, I know I don't need 2. But do I want the Dragonfly for ad clear, or do I just want the raw damage?
What does your heart tell you?
The raw damage.
Okay.
So this one's hard.
Answer.
Even though it's masterworked, it'll go away, which means I'll get some materials back, which will be nice. But I think the tough one is going to be my arc auto rifles here. So I have this Shadow Price, which has Disruption Break, which is good if you're breaking shields and high-end content to make them more vulnerable to damage and kill them faster. And that is a good reason to keep it, but then I have to wonder, A, have I ever really used it? Not really. And has there been a time where it would really be all that beneficial that I wouldn't just be blowing them away with a rocket launcher or something?
I mean, yeah, the thing is you have 5 arc auto rifles.
And I've got...
Oh, that's a lot.
Yeah, I've got an arc logic with demolitionist, so I can still fulfill that role if I want to do a grenade build type of thing. I actually honestly do like this number with field prep and multi-kill clip. With the field prep, you do have to remember to crouch, but its reload is very quick and it's a very stable gun with arrowhead break. I do enjoy that a lot for general PvE stuff. This Sorrow's Verse is also solid. Heating Up and Rampage both just make the gun better with each kill you get. Rampage dealing more damage and Heating Up making it more stable. It might slightly edge out the number in terms of being useful. I don't think this Shadow Price is all that useful. The Swashbuckler, Bottomless Grief. You know, Swashbuckler is another damage perk, but I don't think it's really doing that much I want. So I'm going to remove that. I do like the number, but I think I'm going to tag it to remove too. So I'll have a Demolitionist, Rampage, and maybe this disruption break. That may end up going to, but we'll see.
Probably some note to put in for those who are clearing their vault and are holding on to adept weapons. I know it's really tempting to want to keep those because they're adept. You obviously had to do the harder content in order to get them. But if it's a terrible roll or you just don't use it, like who are you trying to impress, right? Like who cares that it's adept? Just get rid of it and move on with your
Right.
life. You'll get a better weapon.
You can live without. See, like this plug one fusion rifle here is one I've been meaning to try and just keep forgetting to, for PvP.
That's a
Because,
sign.
well, it is a sign, but I've been trying to like fusion rifles, and it's just the one I haven't tried. So I'll keep that one. This one, it is adept, but killing Wind Thresh isn't really doing anything with a fusion rifle that I want it to do. So yeah, you get super energy a little bit quicker, but you know, it is what it is, and I don't think that's necessarily what I want. Usually killing fewer, larger targets with a fusion rifle where I'm not going to be benefiting from Thresh as much as if I was mowing down mob after mob. Um, let's see. Should we look at bows? I think I have these pretty well paired down. Even if I look at all the energies. Oh, nope, I've got quite a few. So, Point of the Stag is just great. I mean, this is one. So this is a fixed roll weapon, so I could pull this from collections at any time and get exactly this roll. So if I'm ever super pressed for space, I could get rid of it and pull it back when I need it, but I'm not that pressed for space, so I'll keep it. Besides that, I just have one Void Bow, which I'm obviously going to keep for Void Shield utility, and then I have a bunch of other stuff. So Arsenic Bite, its advantage is it can have an explosive head on the arrow, which is good against champions, but it doesn't really do. It does a little bit for bonus damage, but it's more that it can proc overload a little more easily. But I think it's just outshined by Wolf Tone Draw and Point of the Stag, so I'm gonna get rid of that. People may think I'm crazy because I know people love Arsenic Bite, but it is what it is. We're being ruthless here. And then I'm going to say, so I have basically a damage option with Archer's Tempo and Adagio. Adagio, the perk, is getting a buff for most archetypes starting tomorrow, because it hasn't been dealing a noticeable enough damage to be worth it for most. I don't think bows are getting that buff. But I guess the way the perk works is after a kill, you fire slower and then deal more damage to compensate for that. But this one also is paired with Archer's Tempo, which makes it fire faster and overrides the performance, the speed loss of Adagio. So you get both more damage and a faster tempo. So if you just want to destroy things, this is a great option. But if I'm looking for damage, I'm mostly concerned with the kinds of enemies that I'd be killing with Vorpal. And in that case, I think Point of the Stag is better. So I might keep the Wolf Tone Draw again with Demolitionist, because grenade bills are always handy to have as an option. And I think I might just keep the Point of the Stag in this Wolf Tone.
Yeah, you don't need 4 arc bows.
No. I do like this Wolf Tone Draw a lot, but I will live without. There will be more bows. Let's see. Fusion rifles then. We'll come back to those. So I have a lot of fusion rifles. The blue we can obviously get rid of. Techian Force I just got and was just playing a bit with in some PvP. So it has rangefinder and kill clip, which is a very interesting to me roll that can do some damage at distance, which is important. So I am going to keep that one for now. I'll just go ahead and get it out of here. It's the Cartesian coordinates that I have a lot of. So I have this one that I think most people would consider pretty close to the god roll for PvP. but I find it's just too inconsistent for me to actually use outside of something like momentum control. And if I want to do that, I've got the Void Fusion Null Composure I can fall back to. So I do like this one, but we're making hard decisions. I'm going to remove it. I then have two other Cartesians, and these are both PvE rolls and some of the best burst damage in the game. So this one is tough for me because I've had this Feeding Frenzy Vorpal roll for a while that is really good for both clearing ads and dealing damage to bosses. But this one has Lead from Gold, which, helps with ammo economy. But I don't find I'm lucky enough to get the heavy ammo to make it worth it when I need it so much. So I don't know that it really does that much to me versus having the reload utility when I need it on this other roll. So I will attack him for deletion. These two timelines vertex here, I already know they're very, very similar. Both have firmly planted snapshot, PvP roll. If you crouch or slide with these, you can absolutely map people with them. That said, I think if I let me compare just these two. Let me go back in here. I think this one on the right just has slightly more range. So I think that's the better way to go. I could probably go either way, but it's probably not worth deliberating that much. I'm just going to go ahead and get rid of this one.
I mean, how often are you using fusion rifles in PvP?
More and more. I am. And Timeline's Vertex is one that I know I like. So I'm not too worried about keeping that. Let me get rid of some of these that I've removed. The Tekken Force will keep. The Glaciochasms. So this one is just a hard-hitting fusion rifle with Reservoir Burst. And there's two different playstyles for it. One is Subsistence and one Slide Shot. Subsistence, every time you get a kill, it's just going to reload that shot, keep the magazine topped off, and let you keep using the Reservoir Burst, which only works on the first shot of the magazine over and over again. It's a great combo until you miss a shot. Then you have to do a full reload. Whereas with this one with Slide Shot, it's the same kind of idea where you can easily keep it topped off, but you have to slide between every shot to get topped off. That said, if you're going against a thicker enemy that requires multiple shots to kill, you can slide between every shot and still get the 20% damage bonus that Reservoir Burst gives you. So I think while this one's easier to use, I think this one's ultimately, if I'm going to go all in on a Reservoir Burst build, it's probably worth putting in the extra effort for it.
Plus, it looks like one of them is 1320 and one of them is 1330 Masterwork. You clearly have a favorite.
Well, you would think, but I'm actually going with the one that I don't have masterworked. I'm keeping this
okay.
one. That's more. I don't know how much I've used this one. It's been more. I think I got it right at the end of the Dawning and didn't have any others to infuse it up with, and just kind of sat on it. But very particular. I think in most PvE content, I'm going to use the Cartesian. But there are some cases where I could see the Glaciochasm being handy, particularly if I need Void. This plug one, I already said, PvP roll. I just want to try. I may end up deleting it early next season. We'll see. This main ingredient is the Zur roll. That is under pressure, tap the trigger, particle, and red dot micro. That should have absolutely insane range to kill people in PvP. I need to get better at pre-firing before it'll work for me. I always have it like 3/4 charged and I die. So that's a me problem. I know I can grow into this weapon once I get better with fusions, but that is what it is. Exotics, honestly, I can get rid of these and just pull them from collections later. I don't think I have anything absurd on my kill counters. So, We'll worry about those later. Null Composure is, I don't know why I have a Crucible kill counter on there. I usually use this in PvE content as well as I have the Feeding Frenzy Reservoir Burst on. So this one's a fast firing frame, just like the Cartesian versus the slow firing, hard hitting Glacioclasm. And this one is really for that ad clearing, chewing through. So asking, are the fusions better or worse since the big fusion overhaul? They are significantly better. And there's a lot more difference between the fusion rifles now in the different archetypes. You really feel the rapid fires fire fast, more than twice as quickly as the slow firing high impact frame fusion rifles. Honestly, I wouldn't personally use a high impact frame fusion rifle, though they are getting a buff with Witch Queen as well. We'll see how well it does. Except for this Glacioclasm, because it has Reservoir Burst. And Reservoir Burst scales with the damage of the weapon, so you can get some absolutely massive explosions with it. In general, most people are going to be using the rapid fire fusions like Cartesian Coordinate and Null Composure in PvE content. And then using the adaptive frames like Timeline's Vertex or the precision frames like Main Ingredient in PvP. Just because you get that better range, better consistency with them. You're looking for a lot of stability because the stability stat basically they fire a group of bolts like a shotgun spread, and the stability kind of constrains the bolt spread just a bit. So you have better chances of landing more bolts, which will secure you kills with them. But yeah, in terms of PvE damage, especially this season that's ending, they've been absolutely insane because of particle deconstruction. But I think they're still going to be a very solid, just general purpose PvE special weapon, into Witch Queen and beyond, just because they're pretty easy to use, and they can fulfill that ad clear and chunking down the champions and bosses kind of role. So
They just may not be I'm thinking about the other change they're making for the upcoming expansion. They may not be an ideal PvP role or your PvP weapon because they are changing the special ammo economy where you will be getting less.
right.
So I think in PvP, if you're going to bring a fusion rifle in, you have to be pretty confident that you're going to land your shots.
Yeah. I find a lot of times because of the bolt randomness, I'll land all but one bolt, need to fire a second shot, then I've used up all my ammo for a single kill, and then I'm kind of just standing flat-footed for the next person who comes along. Yeah, you can shoot people from further out than you can with the shotgun and get the one-shot kill, but it depends on your preferences and playstyle, really. But yeah, ammo is definitely going to be more difficult to come by, special ammo in the Crucible moving forward, which is probably a good thing overall, as long as there's enough to kind of break stalemates as needed. This Hollow Words, I have no words for. It's just gone.
So get rid of it. It doesn't belong here.
Right. Okay, so we've done some damage to the fusions. Grenade launchers. I can already tell it's Void that's going to be the problem for me. So, Deafening Whisper is kind of a unique waveframe grenade launcher. It fires like a wave of like a streak of fire out in front of wherever it impacts that can take out a lot of enemies very well. And with something like this auto-loading Ambitious Assassin, you can get some more utility out of that. I think there's a better role. If I look here, I think something like Ambitious Assassin Rampage is really the way to go. So I'm going to keep this one just because it's unique, but ultimately probably won't use much. Hopefully we get better waveframe options in the future, and I can farm a better option for that.
Oh, this might be a good time to talk about the archive feature in DIM.
Oh, yeah. So you can tag items, as I've shown. You can do keep, tag as junk kind of thing. In this case, I can tag it as an archive, in which case it's going to gray it out here. So it's kind of one I'll probably get rid of, but I still want to hold on to it for a bit. Though I'll clear that out for now because it may be that if I use a build like Cool Guy uses, where he uses this wave frame grenade launcher, and then he uses the middle tree arc build with the basically a wave frame melee. So you slide and melee, and it sends out a wave of energy in front of you, and he kind of wombo combos with that to kill people, which looks like a lot of fun. It's just not something I've put time into mastering. Um, so could be interesting. It's gonna be these truth tellers I have to contend with. So I've got Empty Vessel for Solar, and I've got Salvator Salvo for Arc. The, any of these for PvE content, you really want Blinding Grenades. Because it basically, when you fire it into a group of mobs, it doesn't do a lot of damage, but they kind of stagger around and can't see you, and most importantly, don't shoot back at you. Um, so just catching up on the comments here. So again, Moamo, sorry if I'm lost on the name, but been a Fusion player since the days of Plan C. Really loved high impacts with backup plan. I stopped before the Fusion overhaul because of college and now feel completely lost. So yeah, a lot's changed since then. The high impacts in particular, they do fire slower. They were phenomenal, probably the best PvP option before the changes. And now, unless you're really, really good at pre-firing because they take a full second to fire, um, it's tough. And then your backup plan perk also got nerfed. So that used to just let you fire faster if you switch to it immediately and really counter shotgun rushers. Um, Now when you do that, it still decreases the time to fire, but it also decreases the damage you deal. So it gets tougher to get that one shot kill with it, which is a shame because it really was an outstanding perk before, and now it's completely neutered. Um, Sorry. So, would you mind grabbing me a water?
Sure.
Sorry. Um, so yeah, that's kind of the story on fusions. If you want to pick up something now, look to the adaptive and the precision frames like your Timeline's Vertex or the main ingredient. Look for as much stability as you can, and as much zoom as you can in the case of the main ingredient. The red dot scopes are great. Under pressure, tap the trigger. It's all just going to help your bolts connect. Um, Yeah, so backup plan from a high impact and a throwing knife to the head would kill any super instantly. Yeah, and I haven't really bothered playing with the backup plan roll since the changes, so I don't know if that's still possible, but um, it is unfortunate what they've done to it because it's a perk that fusion players obviously loved, but the powers that be felt it was too strong, which maybe it was, even if a ton of people hadn't caught on to it. Um, but anyways, the real pain point for me here is the truth teller. Um, Mostly because I have two blinding grenade rolls with it that both have the auto loading, and I have this one in the middle. It's the one I have been using the most. Again, I don't know why it says Crucible, but should be a PVE tracker, and you see a lot more kills. Um, the quick draw doesn't really do anything for you in PVE, so I should be using this multi-kill clip roll. But then this one has proximity grenades, which is more useful in Crucible. It's hard to say. I really use this one in Crucible the most with the spike grenades because of the easier one shot body. Um, so maybe I should get rid of this one. Yeah, nerfing the range of backup plan could be an interesting option. And really shoehorn it into the countering the shotgun apes of the game. Let's see. All right, I guess we're into hand cannon territory, and I might have a few of these. So, in PvP, my go-to energy hand cannon is kind of, without saying, the palindrome. Um, I don't think I have a god roll necessarily of it, but killing wind and high impact is good. High impact reserves isn't always going to reduce the time to kill, but
Oh,
sometimes it'll
sheesh.
give you
How
just
many
enough
hand cannons
damage.
do you have?
I have 12, but it includes a couple exotics. But every so often that you get low in the mag, and that extra 1 or 2 damage you can get out of high impact reserves can make or break a gunfight. So I do pretty well with that one. Um, though since Is Luna's out, that's really the hand cannon I use mostly. Um, Nation of Beasts I have as the curated role from uh, Last Wish, which is, I guess, really a PvE role with the Dragonfly. Um, it's part of the group of hand cannons that used to be 150 RPMs, and they were converted to the slower firing 140s. But their stats were never adjusted to compensate for that. So they were always a bit lower stats than the comparable. See, Palindrome has basically a ton, probably averages 70 stats or so. And here, a lot of them dip lower, 43 handling kind of thing. So with Witch Queen, they are buffing these former 150 hand cannons to give them more stats. Oh, so we'll see how this plays afterwards. I may not keep this one long term, but right now it's largely serving as, if I need a PvE option that's Arc, this is really the one to go with, I think. I have this Waking Vigil that gives me Outlaw Kill Clip. That's more of a Crucible roll. Again, this was a former 150, and now is going to be buffed a little bit. So we'll see how it plays after the changes. Um, hey Val, how's it going? And then there's this Nature of the Beast, which is a 180 RPM hand cannon, also PvE oriented. But I think if I'm going to get rid of one of these 3 arcane cannons, it's probably going to be the Nature of the Beast.
I mean, how often are you using a hand cannon in like high level PvE content?
I guess it depends what the champion mods are.
But like,
So
really,
Witch
how
Queen's not
often?
going to have any. And often, if I'm just using a weapon like that, what I want a hand cannon for, a scout's going to do better. Uh, we're doing good, Val, other than whatever I've got caught in my throat that I can't quite get out. Mm. So, yeah. The Ikelos hand cannon I'm keeping because if I'm going to use a 180 RPM hand cannon, this one's probably it because it has Vorpal for killing champions and the Seraph rounds. And because it's an Ikelos weapon, it can also be used with Warmind Cell mods to create nice big explosions. So that's probably the 180 to keep. I mean, I could keep the Nature of the Beast, but I'd probably just use the Nation of Beasts. And if I have the solar option, I'm going to use Sunshot pretty much every time, unless I need the anti-barrier for Mariana's Vow. Sunshot just makes big explosions on hit, and that's too much fun. So on the Void side, I have this bottom dollar I just got that should fix a lot of the issues with bottom dollar in general, in that it's a 120, it's very slow firing, it takes a long time for it to ready and aim. But this one has surplus, which, as long as I have fully charged abilities, it kind of alleviates those issues with it. I haven't had a chance yet to bring it into the Crucible. I did just recently get this in the Gambit spree I was doing, to get the ornament and finish out the season. But yeah, that was that. Then this one I have, that is a PvE role that I absolutely love because it has subsistence. I can basically shoot shoot and kill something in 1 to 2 shots, and then it tops itself back off. It has explosive payload, so it's great against champions. This is really just a goated weapon. Annual Skate, I just don't love. I don't like how it feels. I don't like anything about it. I'm going to get rid of that.
Well, here's the thing about the bottom dollar thing too, that if people don't know this, they should probably know, is that weapons that drop from activities like Gambit and stuff are getting unique perks next or this coming season. So my question for you would be, knowing that and already having multiple void hand cannons, do you really want that bottom dollar?
It's probably one that won't live long because the other thing we're getting is the Gambit overhaul that will let you focus Gambit weapons.
Right.
So if I really want a better bottom dollar, is I can focus farm for it. So yeah, I can probably part with that one. Val asks, told someone the other day that Dying Light 2 reminded her of Destiny, but with zombies. And I actually haven't really seen much Dying Light gameplay, to be honest. So I don't know that I can really weigh in on that. I guess what are the elements of Dying Light that make you say that?
Doesn't Fallout plays, didn't he start recently playing Dying Light 2 as well?
Maybe. I know he's been playing Dead by Daylight.
I don't know. Because he's for those who don't know, Fallout Plays is a Destiny, very popular Destiny streamer, and I think he was producing, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, I don't recall. So yeah, I'll get rid of this annual skate. I know I'm not gonna like. I just don't like annual skate. The issue is it's a very skinny hand cannon, and for me it feels like it just sits slightly to the left on screen, and I just can't land shots with it. So we'll call that one gone. Pulse rifles. This should be interesting. I don't know what my energy pulse rifles look like, but I have a lot of them. Let's start with the solar. So, what do I want to do with a pulse rifle? When it's available for champions, it's a good long range stun. This season we've had the unstoppable pulse rifles, but we've also had unstoppable fusion rifles, which I've been using largely instead. So I do like how Stars and Shadows feels. It's part of the high impact family of pulse rifles, which is probably my favorite to use in PvP. And I think Xur was selling this role, or somehow I finally got a good one. Before that,
yeah, he's been selling a couple of them over the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, before that one came up, I just had this field prep disruption break, which can probably go away now. Again, I don't think disruption break is really a perk that I'm valuing that strongly. Maybe I should, but it's really nice with something like Arbalist, because Arbalist is a kinetic weapon, so you just keep shooting and get the extra damage. Whereas with this, you've got to swap over. Your allies use their kinetics, and again, probably just going to use a rocket or a sword or a linear fusion rifle or something like that to just melt whatever I'm doing immediately instead of a primary weapon. And yes, there are going to be void buddies starting tomorrow for warlocks. It's going to be amazing.
I think I have a fellow warlock main in the chat.
Yeah. And I don't know if you've seen how they work. They basically will travel to the enemies and just suck the life force out of them and give it to you. Should be pretty broken. Anyways, back to my fusions, or not fusions, pulse rifles. So I don't know. I farmed a long time for Jurassic Green, trying to get a roll with rangefinder and multi-kill clip, and never got it. I ended
I
up
know
with
I farmed too and like never really got a great roll on it.
the rangefinder frenzy, and I have found I do. Frenzy's probably my favorite damage perk for PvE content because once you get it up, 12 seconds of combat, it kicks in, and it's very easy to keep up as you're just mowing down enemies. Very, very easy to use, and it's also useful in higher end content because again, you just need to be in combat shooting things. You don't have to secure kills for it like you would for Rampage or Kill Clip, something like that. So it's a great option. But in this role, rangefinder is really to get the extra distance in a PvP fight, where frenzy, not impossible to trigger, is difficult to trigger. And 540 RPM pulse rifles struggle with the time to kill. I think there's something like a 1 second time to kill at base damage. So I've been keeping this one out of principle because it was so close to what I wanted for PvP, which was the multi-kill clip roll. Um, but I don't know. I think I need to part ways and wait for next year because it should be back with Halloween, and I can farm for another one. Outside of that, I'm not really using 540 RPM pulse rifles too much, and it's so close. Maybe I need to take this for another spin first. I'll archive it. I won't delete it right away. I'll archive it. And here I have basically the perfect PvE battler with Demolitionist and Adrenaline Junkie. If I'm ever running a really heavy grenade build, this is the weapon to use. Demolitionist, when I get kills with this weapon, it gives me grenade energy back, and then if I throw a grenade, it reloads it instantly. And Adrenaline Junkie, if I do get a grenade kill with it, instantly 30% more damage with the gun. It just feeds into itself very, very well, becomes a monster. Conversely, this battle rifle, again, these are the Halo battle rifles, is a PvP roll. So this one has the blunt execution rounds. So that allows you to melee and then fire a single burst to get a kill. That's one I
Oh my gosh, I'm looking. Do we
need to
have the
play.
same battler roll? No, we don't have quite the same battler roll, but we have a close one.
Yeah. So very good. I need to throw that on my Titan with a shotgun and have just a nice aggressive in your face play style with that and see how it goes. So this isn't very easy to pare down. I like Forge's Pledge a lot. People didn't like the scope initially because the little dot would bounce around as you move side to side. They have fixed that, so it still moves a little bit, but it is much better than it used to be. But I've never been able to get a rampage roll with it or a multi-kill clip, and I think either of these is really what I want. And until I have it, I'm probably not going to use this. It's a very consistent 3-burst kill, and slightly faster than a high impact frame would give you a 3-burst kill if you miss a shot. So yeah, it hurts, but I'm gonna say goodbye to that. So that gets me down to 3, 3.5, I guess you could say. So let's try then the Void Pulses, which I don't have as many of. Graviton Lance, of course, we'll set that aside. PvP roll on the Grid Skipper, if I can ever figure out 540s. And perfect recoil, that should be good.
Sorry, your chat is just Warlock mains excited about buddies.
Yeah, I see that.
We love the buddies.
Yeah, I guess I've got a PvE roll here with Rampage, but I could still do that with this Outlaw Kill Clip roll. So I think the Rampage one is actually what I'm getting rid of.
I just don't love Grid Skipper. You know, I was just using it to try to finish off some like Season of the Splicer triumphs,
Mm-hmm.
and it just feels like I know this is a video game, but it feels like a toy gun to me,
Mm-hmm.
like the way it's designed.
Yeah, I feel like I'm just tickling enemies with a 540 pulse usually. You know, you don't see that chunks of damage. Um, so in the chat I see Mars is back, question mark, exclamation point. So yes. Um, but I don't think we know what version of Mars or if it's a new version of Mars in just Throne World yet. So
Yeah, so it
stay
seems
tuned.
like yeah, you know, all the planets, like well, not all the planets, but you know, Mars and Io and all that disappeared last year with the arrival of the pyramids, and it seems like Mars is back because that seems to be where Savathun, like I guess not quite her home world, but probably the entrance to
Mm-hmm.
her throne world is, since her throne world is
Yeah. So
massive and confusing, and all of this gets into some really high level physics. That's not what I got my
physics, yeah.
degree in.
Yeah. So I guess we'll see how exactly that plays out. And Anna Bray is who you're thinking of, from Mars. And yes, Anna Bray did survive the darkness. We have seen her since the beginning of Beyond Light. Play the campaign of Beyond Light if you haven't. I don't know if it's too early to give spoilers there or not. Um, but yeah, Anna Bray has a bit of a role.
She's definitely in the Witch Queen trailer.
Yeah.
Like in they recently released a trailer, and you know, everyone's like, oh God, what do we do about Savathun? And a bunch of people are gathered in what looks like, I think, to be Zavala's office, or maybe one of the rooms that
The
sort of
helm or
overhangs
something,
in the
yeah.
tower. Yeah, something like that. And Anna Bray is in that group, although what exactly her role is, I mean, no one knows at this point except for Bungie employees.
Yeah. Yeah, and with Mara Sav, I think we're at the point where I trust Savathun more than I trust Mara. Okay, so
Yeah, he says
Jin's,
he's played Beyond Light. So yeah, Anna kind of hasn't done anything the past year,
yeah,
but seems to be
she
coming
pops
back.
in and out with the stranger. Um, it is what it is. Okay, so this Jin 7, it has full auto trigger, which I can now just mod directly onto a weapon. It's Rampage, but I think anything this does, pretty much everything else here does better. So I'm going to get rid of that. This third axiom, just I think it's kind of for the meme of Dragonfly, but I don't know if you get Dragonfly kills, does Subsistence give trigger for each of those kills? Or does it just trigger off the one that you actually shoot with third axiom?
I don't really know.
That might be something interesting to test. Let's go try it.
I'm also realizing I don't like third axiom, and I think I'm just realizing I don't love pulse rifles.
Pulse rifles in PvE are a little odd, especially the high impacts. Just feel a bit off. I think this is a 390 adaptive frame, so this would be the same type as Forge's Pledge, more or less. It feels quite different. But yeah, let's see if we can figure out how Subsistence works with Dragonfly. I think I can safely delete these. Aw, Blueberry.
By the way, I'm pretty sure you have blues in your vault or in your somewhere on one of your characters, so those would probably go too.
Probably. I've got them. Well, not on my Titan. We'll figure them out. Okay, so let's find, if we can, a group of guys to kill.
Oh, and for those who don't know, they're actually kind of, they're not getting rid of blues, but basically
That put me up to 33.
they are changing the power caps in game, and once you reach the new soft cap, you will have a decreased rate of blues, or really blues won't drop from like playlist activities like Crucible and Vanguard. They'll still drop from like chests and world chests
Right.
and defeating enemies, but they're
So we should see
making
less
that
of them.
easier. Yeah, we should see less of them.
Okay, let's get this down to like 18. Get a collateral. Come on. Stop being cowards. That was unlucky. Usually there's mobs and mobs of enemies here.
Yeah, this is usually one of the places to go if you need to finish some bounties.
Or at least do a quick test. Let's try these. Are they close enough? Not quite. I guess we can go into the lost sector. Yeah, that kicked it up to 27. So Dragonfly does trigger subsistence. That's interesting. That changes my evaluation of this a lot. Because that means as you're mowing through enemies, which you're often doing with your primaries even in high-end content, it stands a better chance of getting topped off without having to kill each individual enemy. So I guess you'll live to see another day. This one with Vorpal, so another change they've made recently is to the Vorpal weapon perk. So it now gives just 10% bonus damage to heavy weapons, 15% as always to special weapons. That's what it's been. And it gives 20% bonus damage to primaries when you're fighting against bosses and champions and such. So, it does more damage against those guys, but am I going to be using a pulse rifle to do it? I don't think so. Just don't think so. I do like this PvP roll. The rangefinder, head seeker. It's a solid combo for me. You can see, because this is a playlist weapon, there's a ton of different perks to it. So some good rampage, one for all kind of thing. Some of them are not so good, like sympathetic arsenal. I'm sure there's someone out there who loves their sympathetic arsenal rolls, but it's not me. So finding a really good one is tough to do, but this one is certainly good enough for me. Horror's Least I'm keeping just because it is 0 power. We'll see. If it gets bumped up in power tomorrow to the 1350 base, I'll delete it because it's no longer interesting at that point.
I forgot you got that 0 power level drop on it.
The Nightfall was bugged the first week it came out, and so when these dropped, you could get a 0 power one, which I did.
Useful in helping the blueberries through the dare activities.
Yes, you could tank your power level with that. Darkest Before, this is as good a roll as any for me. It's interesting. I've never seen Dim do, say, both perks are good before. Interesting. June 7, gone. So that gets me down to 3. That's fine. That's a start. Okay, so we've done all those. Scout rifles. Take out Polaris. Do you mind? Okay. Step back here. Okay, so we've got some arc options. Basically, contingency plan, I have 2. One is a PvP roll, and the other one is PvE. This one has the really nice Subsistence Frenzy. I should masterwork this one. I do like it a lot. Contingency plan's really nice in PvE because its zoom isn't atrocious for a scout rifle. Like you're not like zoomed in like a telescope, so you can you can even hip fire with this one pretty well. And it also fires full auto pretty quickly with the vice frame. So it is a scout rifle that really feels like an auto rifle, which is really nice. Then pull more of these up. So really, I had used the Eternal Blazon before. I don't think it's doing anything better than what the contingency plan is going to do, so I will mark it for removal. Pleiades Corrector, again, this is Demolitionist roll, really nice for PvE. This other one over here is the multi-kill clip roll, maybe better for PvP, but I don't think I'm going to use it in PvP. And I think if I'm going to pull one out for PvE content, it's going to be the Demolitionist because I get the grenades, the extra utility from it. You served me well, but it's time to move on.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to be doing PvE content, Demolitionist is going to be a lot more helpful.
Right. And in a similar vein, I have the Trustee as well, which is Wellspring. Wellspring, instead of giving just grenade energy back, it gives you energy to any of your uncharged abilities. So slightly different utility. And again, like the contingency plan, Trustee is rapid fire. It'll fire full auto by default, which is great for clearing out ads. So I'd probably mostly use the Trustee, and then if I'm very heavy into a grenade build, I would use the Pleiades Corrector. And then the only void one I have is Royal Chase, so that's going to stay. Yeah, it's not my favorite.
All the weapons from Season of the Hunt were just so
Blah.
blah. They just, I mean, I wouldn't say any of them were like unusable, but
Well,
they just didn't hit the mark.
It's like looking at the possible perks here. I guess other than field prep, maybe slideways, if someone likes sliding a lot with it.
How often are you using slideways with a scout rifle though? Like that's just odd.
I mean, you do what you gotta do at that point, I guess. So I like the field prep because it's not a big deal, especially in high-end content. You're often crouching anyways. You might as well get the reload speed from it. Multi-kill clip might be better in that case. It's just not the one I have.
I mean, I feel like this is an archive option because, I mean, obviously you're not going to go farm hunts right now to get a better Royal Chase because all that content is going away in approximately, I don't know, what is it, 2 hours?
Yeah. So we do have the good old Podity Sweezy, another fellow of the Hot Hardware clan, in chat saying, for someone that's never played Destiny 2, what would you suggest for them in order to prepare for Witch Queen?
Well, I have a handy dandy guide right here.
Did you guys like cue that up or something?
No, that was totally unplanned.
Okay. Yeah, if you want to link the guide in. I mean, generally with Destiny, at the beginning, you just want to play. Just run around, shoot aliens, get a feel for the game. You don't want to worry too much about what gun is good or not or whatever. Pick the thing with the highest power level, put it on, use it. As you get into the game, you kind of learn what the different perks are and how they feel and influence what you're doing. And even still, I've got 1,600 hours into this game, and I just learned that Dragonfly works with subsistence to get you extra ammo back. That's something I didn't know before today. So there's always going to be things to learn as you go. But yeah, it's just getting in and shooting stuff. And people, go for the argument, Destiny is a looter shooter game. You just shoot stuff and get loot, which, yes, it's true. But the reason to play Destiny is for the experience. Which is that it kind of doesn't play like any other game I've quite experienced. I've compared it before to, obviously Halo because, it's made by Bungie and does share a lot of the veins. I can't get that into chat. I tried. I've got a read-only version of the chat up right now. So, it plays very well. It's a very fluid game. It's fun to play and experience. The story is getting better and better with Beyond Light. Really, they leaned into the storytelling elements of the game way better than they ever did before. And Witch Queen looks like it's going to be taking that to another level. So immerse yourself in YouTubers like My Name is Bife, who will share and explain the Destiny lore, because there's a lot of very fascinating philosophical stuff in there. Even here, in the broad story of Destiny right now, we're questioning the nature of light and dark themselves, because we've always assumed that light was, the good force in the universe and darkness was evil. Well, now we've started using the darkness, but for good purposes, and now we're finding Savathun, our basically arch enemy at this point, is now taken hold of the light and is going to try to use it to destroy us. So there's a lot of what do things mean, and then looking into different perspectives. So it's a lot of the experience of it. Being able to go
developer.
it's a little bit, but it is why I enjoy the game. And that you can do things. There's the patrol areas if you just want to run around and shoot some stuff. There's the strikes. There's you can go from a raid to, I don't want to say competitive PvP content, because Destiny's not really a balanced player versus player experience. I mean, you're space wizards. There's if you want a realistic shooter experience, there's other games to play, but it is very fun in how it plays, and as long as you play it to have fun, you're gonna have a good time. So, yeah, lost my train of thought there a bit, but a lot of it is just play it to play it, and I don't recommend burning out. A lot of people will race through content so fast that they don't absorb any of it and then complain that there's no content in the game. Just enjoy the experience. And if you want to cycle it with other games, that's probably the way to do it. And then always complain about not having enough vault space. That's the other thing you need to keep in mind. So, what do you think? Have I damaged the scout rifles enough?
Yeah, probably.
Alright, how many shotguns do I have? More than hand cannons.
Yeah, I think if someone really, like, if you were new to the game or something like that, and you were, you just came on, or you're a returning player and you're trying to get ready for the expansion, there's been a lot of guides online right now that are really created by content creators for content creators, because as a content creator, of course, you're wanting to get guides out and do all this stuff very quickly so that you can get things to your viewers or your readers or whoever. And so the guide that we kind of created on the site is really more for like the everyday casual player, that isn't trying to be at max power level on the first day of the new raid. So a lot of it is basically the stuff that you would want to finish up now. So we're going to probably end the stream doing that type of stuff where, you hit up the vendors and you make sure you get all your little rewards and rank up things and that type of stuff, because it's one of those, you use it or lose it type of situation. So if you were a newer player, a returning player, and you're like, oh man, I want to play the expansion tomorrow, but everyone's telling me I got to do a million things before I can play it. The real basic stuff is grab the stuff you're going to lose, the materials and the rewards and stuff like that. Maybe do what Christopher's doing now, which is cleaning out your vault. Make sure you got your weapons and your armor that you want equipped for the first day of the expansion, and, go to bed.
Yeah.
Have a nice evening and go to bed.
If you just want some last minute things to do, if you haven't done the seasonal challenges and you've got a couple that are within reach, you can get some bright dust from them to buy some stuff from the Eververse store with. That may be a good thing to do. If you want to finish up the seasonal stories that you haven't done, again, each of the seasons, the season of the hunt, season of the chosen, the splicer, and the season of the lost, that's the current one, those stories are going away tomorrow. Now, probably won't get very far in the next 2 hours, but can be worth a shot. Just to get some of that immersion into it. There's definitely other fun things with the 30th anniversary. If you haven't found a group for Grasp of Avarice, there's maybe time to do your first run of it if you started now, but this is still going to be here tomorrow, so there's definitely no rush
the
for that.
30th anniversary stuff is all going to be here. It's not going away anytime soon. They haven't given it a deadline, so
Right.
There's time.
Yeah, but the stuff to really hit before tomorrow, honestly, don't need to do anything. Everyone's getting a bump in power level, so everyone's going to start out tomorrow at 1350 base power. I'm at 1330 now. That's the max currently. So we're all going to be on equal footing there. You're going to have the choice of the normal campaign mode or the legendary campaign mode to go through. You can do one and then the other if you want. The advantage of doing the legendary campaign is you will end it with a full set of 1520 gear at the very least. Not necessarily the case for the normal mode, but you can always go back and do it later and get that jump in power levels very quickly if you're up for the challenge, or find some experienced friends who are willing to run it through with you. And yeah, I mean, experience the story. Okay, shotguns are so hard to part with. So I think this is the Sojourner's Tale I'm keeping. So I'm just going to say keep on that. Am I ever going to use this comedian?
What does your heart tell you?
I already have a retold tale with Vorpal.
Looks like the Fallen are bringing in a glimmer drill.
I think I'm going to use the retold tale over the comedian.
Yeah, you really got to cut this shotgun number in half.
Yeah.
You don't need the Cheminade shotguns.
7 Seraph again. This is a PvE role for Solar. Is there anything I'd rather use for PvE? I don't think so. I'm never going to use Wishbringer, or probably really any of the rapid fire frames, especially with the PvP ammo changes. They already basically require 2 shots to kill someone from any reasonable distance, and it's just not going to get better. I think the Iclo shotgun's kind of the same boat. I am going to keep the Deicide, which is a rapid fire, but that's because it has 1-2 punch. And with Titan, you can use 1-2 punch with the bonk hammers to do absolutely stupid amounts of damage when you pair it with something like the Worm God's Caress or something like that. So there's potential there. The Retrofuturist is my favorite shotgun in the game. It's a lightweight, and I just do really well with this one that has full choke, actorized rounds, quick draw, and swashbuckler. The swashbuckler in particular means I can go into a fight, and the first fight I'll maybe fire a shotgun off and melee to get the kill. Well, because I just meleeed, now I've triggered swashbuckler, and I can go into the next fight with extra damage, which really means extra range on the shotgun, and map people with that. So that's a really enjoyable combo for me. A lot of people don't love Retrofuturists. They'd rather use the 7th Seraph shotgun instead. But the way I see it, the 7th Seraph doesn't really offer anything other than Trench Barrel, which I find just less forgiving than Swashbuckler is. So I don't know. I don't like 7th Seraph as much, but I know I'm in the minority on that. So I think I'm going to keep this particular 7th Seraph because it is solar. I don't know. Okay, let me close out you, close out you, close out you, you. Okay, so now I've got this core bit. I've not been very lucky at getting a good Matador. I really struggle with shotguns that don't have full choke, which narrows your projectile spread when you aim down sights. So, technically, there's not a difference for any other barrel
I didn't hear from you.
when you aim down
See
sights
those
versus
skills
hip
go by.
fire. Same range,
That's all right.
same pellet
We'll
spread.
meet next time.
It's just the ease of aiming, I guess, with the aiming down sights. But really, the full choke is what makes aiming down sights worthwhile. If you always hip fire, which some people do, then getting something like barrel shroud, which increases your handling to let you swap to the shotgun faster, can be very beneficial. Rifle barrel gives a lot of range, but I think small bores may be the better play with this one.
Yeah, I think we need to. You got a lot of shotguns, and Benji has given us a deadline tonight.
I know.
So I think we need to speed up the shotgun
I know.
process. I know.
I love this shotgun, but I've been using the Vorpal one lately. It has full choke. I think that's the one to go with.
You got to start going with some gut instincts here.
All right, I'm just not gonna use Matador until I can get a perfect roll. I'm just not gonna use it.
Honestly, I just don't. Between the two new shotguns, between Wastelander and Matador, I just don't love Matador, and I couldn't really tell you why. It's this sort of just the feeling about it.
Yeah,
I just
it has some
Wastelander.
consistency issues. All right, this is gonna be a problem because I don't know sidearms that well. I know I love punching out. I love punching out and Fool's Remedy. Both solar. You can just melt people with them, with their rapid fire. I don't think this is going to be the play unless I need an arc one. No, I've got a better arc. Elemental Capacitor Killing Wind. That one should be very good. I don't like how Last Dance feels. Just don't. It feels kind of bulky and slow. Almost like I'm trying to use the plasma pistol from Halo Combat Evolved. I don't know. I don't like it. I need one of these for the Void. I think I'm going to keep Frenzy. Yeah, I think the Brass Attacks usually does pretty well for me. The 7th Seraph, again, I could use with more Mind Cells, but I don't think I'm going to be using a sidearm with a War Mind Cell build. Even if it has Demolitionist. I don't think that's the play. Sniper rifles. Again, I'm going to have a lot.
Man, I feel like with sidearms, I just cannot live without full auto. And yes, I know like there's now the
mod.
Accessibility mod, but if I can just get a sidearm with full auto and then use the mod on something else, I'd be much happier.
Right. So, okay. Let's go quickly here. I like how Far Future feels. It has the 45 zoom scope that is just comfortable.
Damn, how do you have 12 snipers?
I just do. I don't know. That's 90 RPM. I think if I'm going to go with a Vorpal option, it's going to be the Uzume. I think. I don't think I'm going to be using it for PvP, though. So even though that has Snapshot, I don't think that's my play. I don't think this Widow Bite is ever going to be used. Long Walk. So this one's interesting because if you're standing by your allies, it just gets better. Deal extra damage, becomes faster reloading and all that. If I guess if in the new raid there's an encounter that benefits from that, where you're all just standing together and are able to snipe away, this one will be very, very useful. If not, then I'll delete it at that point.
Yeah, I think that's worth keeping because, like you said, there could be that activity, or
Yeah.
we don't know. They haven't. I don't feel like they've done a ton with snipers
Right.
lately, which
But
makes me feel like they're probably coming up.
yeah, and they recently buffed firing line, and I think it's now the best damage perk for snipers. So yeah, we'll see.
Well, you got 3 occluded finalities.
Yeah, I have this one I've been using, snapshot opening shot. That's just tried and true, very good roll. I have this one for PvE that, again, if I have another arc one for PvE, which I don't. I mean, I guess Adored could work for that, for what I want to do there. So I
feel
don't
like
know.
I should play this.
Should I use the occluded finality or the Adored for PvE? Loading Vorpal
Yeesh.
versus triple tap Vorpal. 90 versus a 72 RPM. Yeah, it's
Honestly, I feel like that's a matter of preference for you. Like, which
Yeah.
archetype do you prefer?
I'll have to figure them out and see. I mean, obviously a lot more zoom on the occluded finality, which makes the aim assist better, but then you're very tunnel visioned in.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like Adored had its moment in the sun, you know?
We'll see. And then I just got this one yesterday with Elemental Capacitor. And if I use that on like Warlock with a Arc Stag Rift for the handling, that should be like double quick draw. So I just haven't played any Crucible to try this one, but I want to try that one. I guess if I'm gonna get rid of one, I'll get rid of that. Go from there. This is sustained boss damage. If there's a long boss fight where you can just keep pumping lead into them, triple tap on the Ikelos, and probably, I don't know if backup or boss spec is better, but either way, very good. Just depends on what the triple tap threshold is. I don't recall offhand.
All right. Well, let's. Just looking at the time and knowing that Bungie's given us a deadline this evening. Why don't you pick maybe like one more section to go through, and then we should probably do some of the in-game, picking up the rewards and stuff like that.
Okay. Yeah. So I've got these stochastic variables. Both are the Feeding Frenzy multi-kill clip. I think the range is more useful than the handling, so maybe get rid of this one. That borrowed time is probably my perfect role for it, because the Dragonfly should work with Warmind cells as well. So if you use the mod that lets solar explosions generate Warmind cells. So I'll have an Ikelos option this season, and I'll have the borrowed time with that Dragonfly, both that can make Warmind cells. And
so I guess the
bring them
question
back
with
to
this
prominence.
is, do you need both stochastic variables, and do you need both Ikelos?
I'm getting rid of this stochastic, and this is a PvP rule, and this is a PvE rule. So the Subsistence Demolitionist will be my main anti-champion overload weapon this season, unless something remarkably better comes out with the new weapons, which could happen. And then this one with dynamic sway and tap the trigger is just a laser to beam people. It doesn't have the range of something like Shigura's Wrath, but I feel like it can be a more consistent killer if they're rushing you, if you don't need the range. So I think that's the damage I can do to those. So how did we do?
Well, let's give the people what they
jump.
want, and why don't you pop some of these on your character and start dismantling?
Okay.
Because, I mean, at the end of the day, that's the most satisfying part of a vault clean, right?
Yep, time for bloodshed. So let's go here and we'll just store on Titan, see how many we can get. I may actually need to return to orbit. Oh, if you haven't, the most important thing you can do is come over to the Eververse, and in the bottom right corner, you can get 700 free Bright Dust. This has been a thing every single week this season, or, well, really once the 30th anniversary hit to
And
celebrate.
this is the last time you can do that. They are getting
Right.
rid of that starting tomorrow.
So get your 700 free Bright Dust right now. It'll be right where this Sparrow is. So was there? Yeah. All right. Okay. So these are all items to delete. Okay. Oh, this one's gonna hurt. It's gonna hurt. That might be
We
the
also
most
want
painful
you.
one of the night, and I did it first. All right, annual skate. I don't care. I don't care. As you can see, one crucible kill I had on that one before it went away. That's about how long it took me to go, nope, this gun is not for me. Last perdition, not used a ton, not used. I guess for me, that's a lot of shotgun kills, but for others, obviously not. But I like the Vorpal one more. It's just more consistent. With the full choke on it. Yep. Bye. 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 Alright. Hit R to refresh dim. And we'll do the same thing. Store on Titan. Anything else? Bring the blue over. There we go. Alright. Bye, Uzume. Oh, I locked that at some point. Goodbye, far future. You were loved. Comedian didn't like you. See, this one did a bit of work with it, but it's gone. Should be interesting to see if the seasonal weapon or the holiday event weapons also get the origin perks.
Oh, that would be interesting. Could you imagine if they had specific, or like there were specific perks that you could only get during that particular holiday?
Mm-hmm. Get like dawning weapons could have stasis synergy or something.
Yeah, something like that.
'Cause
Although I
there's,
think
like, those-
Compass Rose was solar, or is solar, I should say.
Right, but it could still have stasis subclass synergy.
Yeah.
Because there's like the Zephyr sword with the cold steel that I really need to use more. All right. Goodbye. 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 I'm gonna need a drink after this.
This is good for you. It's good for your soul. You feel, consider you're unburdening yourself of unnecessary baggage.
Uh-huh.
You didn't need this stuff. You're not going to remember it. You're not going to miss it.
I think all
You're
those
free.
76 kills, or at least 70 of them, were momentum control. But again, I can throw on the null to do the same thing. It's just, it kills them so fast. They don't ever see it coming. Ah, okay.
Your vault needed this. Your vault is thanking you.
Pain.
Just think to yourself, do these guns spark joy?
Yes.
But for you, they all spark joy. And if they all spark joy, then none of them spark joy.
Alright. I don't know why Merciless went in there, but okay.
It was feeling left out.
Yeah. Alright. Bye. Bye. I never got the auto-loading Vorpal first and last out. That's really the dream. I have an auto-loading Surrounded, which can be good if you actually have mobs around you, but if you don't, then it doesn't really help.
So our dear Pa Diddy Sweezy says, so purging all of this is simply to make room for new stuff. Yes.
Alright. I'm just gonna swap the Merciless with the plug one. And
Yeah. So in the new season, new expansion, they've said in the new expansion, in the new season alone, there are going to be 50 new weapons. Plus, there are going to be some existing weapons that they're going to be new, like you can try to get a custom roll on, and then that's not even considering all the other weapons that are probably going to drop throughout the year. And Bungie only gives you 500 spaces in the game, and that's including for armor and stuff like that too in your vault.
I mean, 500 plus 9 per slot per each character, but still, it goes very, very quickly. You know, and there's some other things I should look at, like these Wastelanders, and decide what I really truly want for the PvE role. I know this is the best PvP role I have, but I'll worry about that after Witch Queen. I have made the dent I needed to. So, shall we visit vendors?
Let me join you. I got prep I gotta do too. I've been selflessly helping you clean your vault.
Yep.
I mean, in reality, the vault cleaning is like my favorite thing on the, on the whole planet.
Yeah. It's been a long time since I've had a good coffee stout.
Oh, I'm loading in.
Yep.
I'll join you.
Okay. Should I head to the tower, or are you almost there?
Yeah, head to the tower. Plus, I gotta make sure, you know, my fit's right before showing it to the world.
Oh, I should probably delete these blues here.
As we know, the Destiny endgame is fashion.
I also probably have more armor than I should, but okay, we'll delete these blues while we go. Giant golden nugget.
Says you're matchmaking, so I can't join you yet.
Almost loaded.
Okay. I can join you now. I'm wearing the appropriate clothing.
All right. So I'm going to go head into the hangar first and start with Saint 14. I don't think I have anything left there, but I could be wrong.
I know for sure I don't have anything with Saint 14. So I'm going to go to other places in the tower.
Like, have I forgotten any Twitch Prime stuff with Amanda? Nope. Okay. Oh, and if you want to visit Zur before Reset 2, he is at the EDZ in the Winding Cove. He had good Hunter boots, good Warlock boots, and the rest was kind of, eh.
Actual trash.
Yeah. Alright, I am all set with Saint. So now let's go Courtyard.
Yeah, I'll go check with Amanda, because I know I've had some Twitch... Ugh, I can't even talk. Twitch Prime rewards, but I'm pretty sure I picked them all up, but just in case.
Yep. I'm going to skip the Postmaster for now, because I know I've got some, some Umbral Engrams. So if you stack some Umbral Engrams, you'll be able to use those to focus the new seasonal armor sooner. And then I've got some enhancement prisms and stuff because I'm over capacity. This hothead, impact casing, tracking, and clown cartridge. That's probably the hothead I'll use. Anyways, Zavala.
Greetings.
8 engrams, some enhancement cores. Let me clear out my space. Just throw everything.
Oh, also make sure to check for clan rewards too with Soraya.
Yep, we'll get there. And for those who don't know, this is the Steam browser overlay. So you can hit Shift Tab to bring up the Steam overlay, and then use the web browser at the bottom. Log in from there. Then if you play in full screen like I do, you don't have to tab out and minimize everything like you normally would. So.
Oh, another thing too for people, if you are trying to get that multi-mock or anything like that, this is your last opportunity. So make sure you hit up Saladin before you log off tonight.
Yes. Zer may sell it randomly in the future, but you'll have, no control of the role he sells or anything else. So you're looking for something like this one. I've got the Model 6 loop. Model 8 would be better. Accurized rounds. Iron Reach. Probably Killing Wind is the best third column perk. Quick Draw is also not bad. Range Masterwork. Just basically max out the range. At least if you play on mouse and keyboard. If you play on controller, you'll need a bit of stability. So maybe get rid of Iron Reach and go with Kill Clip instead. And you'll have a very solid option.
Yeah, my god roll is Iron Grip, which massively improves weapon stability at the cost of reload speed, Killing Wind, Tactical Mag, and Model 6 Loop.
Yeah.
Masterwork reload speed.
So it's one of those situations where I could go for a better multi-mock and hope I get one absolutely perfect, but I've only got, I think, 500 or so. Yeah, I have 504 Iron Banner tokens. So the odds of me pulling a perfect multi-mock out of that is pretty slim. And I might as well use these to see if I can get the new Iron Banner weapons next season.
Which next season will be the last time Saladin basically has the rank up system that he does. They are switching him over, I believe, in season 17 to the same system that Zavala, Drifter, Shack all have.
Really the same system that Saint 14 has right now, where you can focus specific weapons. This is the system coming to Gambit tomorrow. So you'll be able to focus Gambit weapons, which is really nice for people who don't want to play a lot of Gambit. They're also making huge changes to the Gambit game mode that sound like it's going to make it a lot more fair, or at least minimize the number of blowout games. So we'll see how it goes. As always. So what was I doing? Oh, I was clearing out space. Just move the IS Luna. And then I will pick up his engrams, which I know this is going to give me armor pieces too, but I'll deal with those when they get here.
Yeah, so the people you're going to want to hit up tonight are Zavala, Shax, Drifter, Saint. I would hit up Soraya, because they have those rank up rewards, and it's one of those, like we said before, use them or lose them. So if you don't pick them up tonight, you're not going to be able to. That's it.
Yep.
Also worth checking out, going to the helm, making sure you've visited the servitor and all that good stuff.
Okay. All that's gone, but I did get a bunch of gunsmith materials, which we'll loop to at the end. I got some legendary shards. I got a finest matter weave. Okay. Zavala is done. On to Shax.
One of our brightest returns.
Couple ranks. Hit that. I need to claim these upgrade modules. Is there any way I can create space without actually using them? I mean, there's no sense in using an upgrade module right now if it's all going to be bumped in power level tomorrow. So,
the other last thing to remember too is for Umbral Engrams, they will still be around next season, and you'll be able to, focus them with new weapons and stuff like that. But if there was a weapon from the season of the Chosen, season of the Splicer, or season of the Lost that you really, really want, this evening would be your last opportunity to try to focus and get that roll.
Okay, let's see what we get for these engrams. So, another Cartesian.
I have gotten so many God roll Cartesian coordinates.
I know, they drop like candy. But getting a perfect one is so hard. Helmet, mark, gloves. No, we're on YouTube and Twitch. Okay, gauntlets have gone. That's our sign. Delete, delete, delete.
Oh my goodness, do you ever visit shacks?
Yeah. I just don't like to claim the engrams except in big batches. And I find it frustrating a little bit to get armor from them this way because they're never higher than 55 stats, it seems. Which
Yeah,
is
it's not a good armor route.
just, yeah, junk. I don't need a hoof scow that bad. I don't need that tarantula. Not a good Pleiades. Not a great Cartesian. Possibly a good Icolos, but I don't really care enough. Yeah, it has Seraph. I mean, this is a very good PvP one. It's a 180, and they're not in the best spot for PvP, and don't really know when they will be. So I'm going to go ahead and dismantle it, but some people may like that one. Yeah, not a great scout.
Can I just say too, I find the Icolos weapons so ugly.
They're a bit funky. Though I do like the kind of diamond patterning on the SMG. Scathe Lock, that's a good auto rifle. I've got a couple really good rolls of that. It has a very high base zoom, so in PvP especially, you can surprise people with the distance you can kill them from, where usually auto rifles can't. Legal Action is probably the highest base range, high impact pulse rifle in the game as well. So its base range is more than a max range messenger, which is kind of crazy. If you're really into solo content, this would be an excellent Scathe Lock. I think Corkscrew, Tac Mag, Subsistence, Osmosis, because the Osmosis will let you throw your grenade and get an extra damage element type. I've already got an Osmosis weapon I like, so I'm going to get rid of it, but it is very good, and this one also looks very nice. On this one...
I feel like I was going to say, I feel like I need to say that the names of the other players in the tower right now are not reflective of hot hardware values.
I'm not going to look. So... yeah, this is a very good legal action as well. I'm just debating. I think Killing Wind is kind of my favorite non-damage perk for PvP in the game, because after you get a kill, you can strafe really fast with it. It extends your range, your swap speed on handling. It's just a really awesome all-around perk. Now, moving target statically lets you strafe faster when you're aiming down sights, gives you a little bit of aim assist. It's still not a bad perk. I think, though, for this combination, Killing Wind is just a little more useful to me. Plus, my Killing Wind roll already has Arrowhead Break, which brings the recoil up to the magic 100. So it's really easy to stay on target with it. This one has Extended Barrel, which helps the recoil a little bit, but you'd still want to throw a counterbalance mod on to bring it up to 95 and really make that recoil vertical with it. Without that, it's just going to be pulling your pulling to the right a bit every time you shoot, and so you're just going to have to combat that a little more. So not a very good legal action, but I don't think as good as the one I have. The stochastic variable, not anything I'm interested in. Deicide, all that I think is junk to me. Genesis kill clip, not the play. Underdog elemental capacitor, not the play. And again, 53, 50 total stats, 56. You really want gear that's at least above 60, if not 65 total stats, with the good distributions, of course. So recovery is always great. If you're a Titan, getting some extra resilience isn't bad to get your shield out more often. Hunters obviously want mobility as well. Intellect never hurts. With the changes to supers as well, there's really not a point in going above 70 intellect anymore, because kills are gonna get you the bulk of your super energy back. So not as important as I feel it used to be, where it could really get you multiple extra supers around if you were at 10 intellect. Okay.
Stop by when you return.
Is that all?
Time to fight, Guardian. What do you need?
That was, other than the upgrade modules that I'll just have to do without.
Hey there.
Okay, nothing from Soraya.
Hi.
Oh, thanks for the follow. Alright, down to Uncle Drifter.
Call me Drifter.
Looks like I cleaned him out already.
See you on your rope.
Check with Ada. I don't think I'll have anything there, but just in case, I just want to make sure I don't have any synth cord or something.
Good of you to come by.
Better frames on Twitch. Is YouTube stuttering? That's interesting.
Welcome back.
Okay, nothing I really need there. So let's see what other places we need to go to. So let's check Europa. The Stranger I've already collected from. Won't worry about
I
that.
should look at that.
The Moon, I think that's just to do the quest. Not worried about that. Framing City looks clear. Zur's Treasure Hoard. I don't think I have anything I need to do there. So
I'm also
yeah.
trying to equip mods that don't expire tomorrow too on my ghost.
Yeah. Well,
My partner returned.
oh yeah, setting up an armor set. So if I'm gonna start on Titan, I definitely want to play with the new Void subclass that's coming out. That said, there's a couple of good Void exotics, not the least of which are Helma Saint 14, Doomfang Pauldrons, Ursa Furiosa, even no backup plans with the defensive strike if you want to shotgun stuff. But I think for me, I kind of want to play with the more neutral game, so I think I'm going to keep with the Dune Marchers build, because Dune Marchers, even though the damage they do is arc, it still works with any subclass. To chain that lightning up when you punch. So I think I'm going to keep these just as general utility, but I might make sure that I at least have something like the Ursa Furiosa build with me. And then maybe the Helm of Saint 14, which could be useful because they're finally separating the Ward of Dawn super as its own option. So instead of having to press and hold your super key to trigger the Ward of Dawn, it's just going to be an instant press, but that's your only super option. Now, you get less flexibility with that, but they're also decreasing the cooldown significantly. So it's going to come up just as often as Warlock's Well of Radiance. So if we're really getting our butts kicked by Legend and need the extra survivability, having that to swap to with the bubble could be very useful. So I think I'll figure out the mods in a minute, but maybe we should sign off the stream from here.
Yeah, unless you want to go visit Spider first or anything like that.
Oh, yeah, we can go look at Spider.
Let's all say goodbye to him.
All right, are you ready for that?
He'll be late. I am.
All right. Tangled Shore, if you didn't know, is going away tomorrow, so this is the last glimpse you will get to see of it.
Well,
So,
unless obviously you sign on tonight.
yeah,
After we're dead.
right. So Spider's black market, if you will, of selling planetary materials and shards and stuff, that's all going to be moved to Master Raoul in the tower, the Cryptarch. So that functionality is not going away, and it's going to be more convenient because it is just in the tower. You don't have to make special trips out to the Tangled Shore and deal with more load times to get it, which is going to be nice. But it's never fun to lose a destination, especially because I think the Tangled Shore is more interesting than people give it credit for. Just because it's, the tangled asteroid belt in decay.
Well, and I think some people probably have some sentimentality with it too, with the Forsaken campaign.
Yeah. So I'm not going to pick up etheric spirals because I've already dumped all of mine. These as a material are going away. As the destination is going away, so they're going to be worthless. Let's go see. Yesterday, Spider was selling Glimmer for the cost of etheric spirals, so you could dump those in and
Oh my
get
gosh,
Glimmer
he's
back.
selling etheric spirals right now for legendary shards. Guys, don't buy that.
Yeah, swindler.
I think you'll
Yeah.
find our friendship
Do not buy these.
agreeable.
So Baryon Bows. So right now there's no way to dump etheric spirals with him. I didn't look to see what Ada was selling if
She
was-
wasn't.
No.
I double checked. Ada didn't have it.
Yeah, so you might be short of luck on the etheric spirals now unless anyone happens to know a farm. And then Potty Squeezy asking, is there a downtime for servers between Purge and when Witch Queen launches? Yes. So the servers are going to go down in just over an hour, 9 p.m. Eastern time, and they will not be back up to play until noon tomorrow, noon Eastern time. So
So we're kind of on a time crunch.
yeah. So get anything you need done, do before Witch Queen, done now. You've only got an hour to do it. But yeah, all of this selling the enhancement prisms and cores is going to be moved to Master Raoul. So not going away, just moving.
Oh yeah, and we should probably say too, although it's officially everything shutting down at 9 p.m., they are kicking players off at 8:45 p.m. Eastern Standard. So
Yeah.
you really do have less than an hour.
Yeah. So get on that. But I think we can leave that here. Any other questions before we go? And we can stay around and watch comments for a bit afterwards as well.
Crystal barrels.
Goodbye, Spider. We hardly knew ye.
I'm just going to jump over to my Hunter and my Warlock and basically do the same vendor run. But
My scouts.
I've already shown you what I'm doing on the Titan, so don't really need to see that.
Where's the salvage team?
Oh, and if you do want to add us to play with, trying to remember how to... How do I show my ID? There we go. Topher number 7701 for me.
I am Brit me number 5304.
So if you add us, we'll accept and let us know if you want to do something and play. We're not going to be on at launch tomorrow, but we'll be on hopefully later in the evening, depending how servers go. Definitely be very, very patient tomorrow. Launch days always attract huge numbers of players that is more than is reasonable to have the server capacity for. So be patient. Queues will be long, but you'll get in eventually.
Yeah, I think, what was it last year for Beyond Light? Wow. Beyond
Yeah.
Light launch as a tongue twister. How long did it take us to get on?
A while. Maybe I think well, because again we came in later in the evening, so I think
We
it was
did.
still like an hour or so. I can't
I
speak
think it
to
was
the
a
people
little
at
bit less
launch.
than that, maybe more like 45 minutes, but it definitely, we definitely did not get on right away.
Right. So just take it easy, chill. And if you care about spoilers and that kind of thing, once the data starts loading, as I think Joe Blackburn tweeted out, once it starts loading on people's computers, there's going to be people data mining the ever living what out of it, and posting spoilers everywhere. So if you care about that kind of thing, just unplug from social media, take your break away, spend time, friends, family, and then log into the game and play with fresh eyes, because spoilers will be flying. But
But not from us. Not
right.
from our site.
Not from us. We're not going to spoil. We are going to enjoy. But anyway, thank you for joining us this evening, and hopefully we can do more of these streams here because it is fun.
And there is so much Destiny 2 content coming. It's honestly overwhelming. I mean, this is like Christmas Eve for us. We're just waiting for Santa to arrive with his sack of the expansion.
Yep. Yeah. So anyway, thank you for joining. It has been fun.